All right, so this is our last part. This won't take too long. So right here it says, when given the graph of a one-to-one function, how can we graph its inverse? And I've actually already talked about this in the previous videos, but recall that the x and y values switch places to create the inverse function. And here's the notation for this. So you can just see the x and y just swap places. So simply use the coordinate notation to find the ordered pairs of the inverse function. Note also this notation right here is the coordinate notation for reflecting across the line y equals x. So sometimes you might want to draw that line just so you can kind of have an idea if you're doing it correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and put that line here for us. So it would be this line right here. So this is the line of reflection. And so all these points should reflect to the other side. And so if you look at this first point right here, let's see, it's at 2 4 currently, right? It's at 2 4. And we're gonna now we're gonna switch it. So now it's gonna be at 4 2. So we switch it over to where now it's at 4 2. And then we're just gonna do the same thing with all the other points. So let's see, it was at negative 3 3. Now we're gonna be at positive 3 negative 3. So now we're at positive 3 negative 3. So you just swap the order. So let's see, this one is currently at negative 6, negative 1. Now we're going to be at negative 1, negative 6 down here. Negative 1, negative 6. And then last but not least, let's see, this one right here was at negative 7, negative 5. Now we'll be at negative 5, negative 7. Now be careful. This one's not too bad, but sometimes when you reconnect the dots, you want to make sure you do them in the right order. Sometimes these graphs can be a little bit more interesting to where the reflection, it gets a little confusing on how to connect them. So just make sure you kind of follow the dots in the order that they were connected. So here, here, and here. Like I said, this one was pretty obvious, but you'll notice on the homework sometimes you might get one where it's not quite as obvious the order to connect the dots. So just be careful about that. And then this last example right here, once again, I'll give us this line of reflection that might help us a little bit. There we go. And so you can see that it actually has a point on the line of reflection right here. So you can see that point right there, 3, 3, because when you swap the order, you're still at 3, 3. So this question on your homework will actually be a multiple choice one. On part A, I believe you actually have to plot this and graph this yourself. But on part B, it's just going to be multiple choice. So just pick out a couple key points like here, here, and that's probably good enough. If you can figure out where those 2 points are supposed to be, you should be able to figure this one out. So currently this is at negative 2, 0. We're going to swap that to 0, negative 2. So now it's going to be down here. And then this point here, we'll color code this a little bit. So this point right now is at 0, 2, and we're going to switch that over to 2, 0. So it's going to be right there. And then we'll just go ahead and connect these dots. And so this is going to open up like this and cross right there, and it will keep going to reflect from that blue line right there. And like I said, this part on the homework's multiple choice, so you shouldn't give you too much trouble. And that's it. So I told you it'd be short. And so if you got any questions over this, let me know. But this is the end of Unit 2.